Visit us at podlanderpresents.com to find information on all of our shows.
I can't believe it. Hello. Okay. I don't know whether or not Julie is going to keep this, but just in case she does, what happened?
The second time.
It is currently, let's see, -3 degrees, not counting wind chill here in Chicago. But Dudelander doesn't stop for weather. So,
for time.
And for death. So Julie ordered.
Whoa. We're not Emily Dickinson fans. We do not.
I mean, you knew what it was, Kevin.
Yeah, because I'm a feminist.
He's wearing a sweatshirt that says "I'm trying my best." It's a feminist shirt. So Julie ordered a Miller Lite delivery, and we were debating: do we start recording? Do we not start recording? Well, Miller Lite will probably get here as soon as we start. And she hit record, and the bell rang immediately. So that is what happened. I guess you had to be there. God, the unmistakable sound of a 40.
The finest Miller Lite.
Oh, man, Neil, we missed it. Should we open our own drinks?
Oh, should we open our own drinks?
Oh, God.
That's right, because Jamie's a rifleman. We have Colt 45. Which is not a rifle, I'm aware, but...
Thematically
I guess
correct.
That means that now Colt 45 is the sexy quail of beverages.
I can't believe you guys are just going to straight up drink
really
these
fooled
40s.
them, Neil. I think they all think you were really drinking them.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, see, you know how we can make that better?
Malty.
Is with some OJ. I'm just telling you.
Nothing can make this better. This is already perfection.
No, I can't put
in a
OJ
glass.
in there. You have
Why?
to get a glass.
I could get a funnel.
Get a funnel.
Get a glass. Do either of you want a glass?
No, straight from the bottle.
You're going straight 40.
I'm going to get a funnel.
I'm going
Oh my God.
What?
straight
Oh my God,
40
we're
at
never
12:30. No, we're in it. This stays in.
Okay.
Julie, it's just you and me.
Welcome to Dudelander.
Welcome
Shit.
to Dudelander.
All right, Julie,
Yeah.
would you share some of your 40 with me?
Of course.
Some of your birthday 40?
All right. Does everybody have coasters enough?
No.
I think, Neil, will you go grab some coasters from the front room?
I thought they were
Here you go.
here.
We've got them all out here. It's because we're going the full brunch complement today. Everybody has like 6 beverages.
This is easily our like most scattered, least coherent start to one of these. And I have to say, that's really setting the tone for what's to come.
You don't like it, you can lump it.
I need a thingy. Thank you.
And you're going to actually
This is
put
good,
a
Kevin.
funnel
Good
into a
pick.
Colt
Oh, thank
45. Allison, will you take a photo of what's about to happen?
Well, he should really do this over a sink.
No, he's not going to do
You got to
that.
drink it down a little bit more, bud.
Why? I'm going to keep putting it in as we go.
Ah, smart.
I can put the funnel right there on that plate.
Smart.
A little bit, right?
Yeah. It's good.
There you
That's
go.
Like 40 ounces worth of OJ.
Here it goes.
Degenerates. All right.
Oh, this is a video, Neil. Don't even worry about it.
Citrus.
Okay.
You're
All
welcome,
right.
Amelia, for that social media content.
Okay.
So I guess
It's not terrible. It's a hazy Colt 45.
welcome
New England style Colt 45.
to Podlander Drunkcast and Outlander podcast, Dudelander season 7 part A edition.
Yep.
I'm Allison,
I'm Julie.
and these two clowns will introduce themselves because I can't be bothered.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Neil.
I see what they did.
I like lifting weights. I'm Neil.
I like Cubs and Boilermakers.
Damn it. You got me so good.
Put on my Indiana accent.
Well, that's
for
it.
that.
Thanks for having us
Yeah,
over,
that's
guys.
it.
I'm also Kevin. I like novelty sweatshirts and punctuality.
And I'm trying my best.
And I'm also Neil, and I like putting a funnel in my Colt 45. I don't fucking know.
Putting a funnel in things.
Yeah, he just likes
I
funneling.
feel like we're learning a lot about your life, Neil.
Yeah, I'm a funneler.
I don't know Neil's pin.
It's a password, but the S's are $2 signs. So it's
Cherry
super
Jones, but all
secure.
the E's are 3s. All right.
Okay,
So-
the way we figured this would work is because you know these jabronis, they don't remember what happened. They watch the show, but they don't remember it.
And what show is that?
That TV's Outlander, based on the series of books by Diana Gabaldon.
Who?
So we're just going to read them the plot
read
synopsis
one of her books,
from
you
fucking Wikipedia
stooge.
and try to get them to talk about that episode.
Before we do that first, though, what I would like to start with what you actually remember. Like, what are the things...
Season 7A specifically.
Yes. What are the things that stood out to you, for good or ill, as being particularly memorable?
Was season 7A what we've watched?
Yes.
Have
Yes.
we watched season 7B?
No, does not exist yet.
Hasn't
So did
happened yet.
season 7A start with when did the house blow up?
In this
Beginning of season 7.
At the beginning.
Season 7A
Yes.
starts with an occurrence at Owl Creek fake out of Claire not being hanged and
Yeah.
then winding up on a
I don't
boat.
remember that. I don't. Oh yeah. She was in the prison, and then the one that
Yes.
drinks that killed a guy.
And then ends with Jemmy kidnapping.
Where in time is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh yeah, the
That's where it ends.
Babadook or whatever we call that guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the Babadook.
Pretty good.
And then Claire and Jamie.
Revolutionary warring it.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I mean, this-
preparing to go back to Scotland.
So I remember the house blowing up. I remembered the Babadook. I remembered some Revolutionary War. I think Benedict Arnold, and like I don't know.
That's a thing you remember?
Yeah.
That's a specific thing you remember.
Yeah.
So the way that I listen to your podcast, so I'll watch the episode first, then I'll listen to the episode later. And Neil and I usually watch like 2 or 3 episodes at a time to try to catch up. And so we watched a bunch, and then I listened to your podcast, and you did a trigger warning at the start, and I went, for what? I just watched this episode. What could possibly... I don't remember anything that would necessitate a warning. No, and it was like the first 10 minutes of that episode where they explained what happened.
To Malva.
Yes.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about it days after I watched it. So I want to say this is a bad question on your part,
Well,
Allison,
I mean,
as to what we remember. That was
except
days
for,
later.
Listen, there are things that you remember. He remembers Benedict Arnold.
I mean, I did bring Colt 45, so I remember that Jamie's a rifleman.
Right.
Rifleman.
You remember Claire in prison?
Kind of.
When you prompt me to.
Yeah, that's early though.
Like
That's
I just
the
now
very
remembered them climbing a hill for cannons.
Do you
There's like a
remember
whole
the-
plot point around that.
Do you
yeah.
remember that
Because of
part?
his cousin was running. His cousin who looked like fucking
Take a drink, figure it out. You got it. There it is.
big square-headed guy who was his cousin that ended up dying, and he was
Old
able to go
squarehead.
visit him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, squarehead.
I'm sorry,
mean-
cube. It's a 3-dimensional. He's a cube.
That renowned character actor who fucking brought it. He brings it to you every ball.
Margot
Yeah.
Martindale?
The
Might as
male
well have been.
Scottish
Margot Martindale.
Angus McFadden.
Yeah,
Is that
Angus
his name?
McFadden.
Yeah.
He was so sad.
He was very good at his job. Okay. Do you remember the murder house?
Oh,
with Quaker
right.
Oats. Yeah.
Yes.
With Quaker Oats.
Do you remember Hot Quaker Barbie?
Yes,
And her
I do.
Hot Quaker brother?
They don't remember Dr. Denzel.
Justice
Oh, I mean,
for Denzel.
I remember. It's not how I would
remember
describe
it. I don't know
him.
if I would describe him as hot. I would describe him as like childlike.
Not fashion plate.
Okay.
Total babe.
Oh, well,
Crazy
because of the thing,
weird.
because of the pin.
Yeah, that apron with the snap on.
But then we
thing.
realized
I
that
have
they're
two
all
words for
wearing
you.
that.
I have 2 words for you. Bone structure. Mm-hmm. What about
Hereditary.
let's see.
Modern day stuff.
Yes. What about
The Babadook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously you remember the Babadook.
There's a portal under the dam.
Yeah,
or something.
There's a lot of hydroelectricity in this season, which I found off-putting.
Yeah, because you're more of a wind guy.
I'm a wind and sun man myself.
what about Rob Cameron? Does that name mean anything to you?
Isn't that the Babadook man that we're talking about?
Yep, that's the Babadook.
No.
Yeah.
No, the Babadook is fucking Buck McKenzie.
Is Buck McKenzie the Babadook or is Rob Cameron the Babadook? The one that kidnaps the kid.
I thought it was the kidnapper.
No,
Yeah,
not
so-
the kidnapper. The one.
Descent on the boy's side.
Yeah, the one where the kid says he has an imaginary friend, a Babadook friend, and then
All
it
right,
turns out
that's
to be
Buck McKenzie.
It used to be the man who invented golf, and now it's fucking somebody else.
Yeah,
right?
and so that big fart of an entrance where you're like, her? Yeah.
But then The combing of the beard with
Yeah,
the tiny
little Barbie
brush.
comb. That was cute.
Yeah, I don't remember
I
that.
don't remember that.
I don't.
Yeah.
They're watching Buck Rogers.
I remember that you guys reference it a lot, but I don't think I actually remember sitting and watching.
Yeah, I know I had massive problems with the whole kidnapping, the whole
Talk about the whole
antagonist thing in the present. I had problems with. Now I don't know if we're going to do specific episodes or we should talk about
We
specific.
will.
So.
We're just trying to prime the pump and get you thinking.
Well, I
about
am.
it.
I'm primed to hate on how all that went down.
Hey.
Well, then let me spin this even a little bit more. What are the good things you remember?
cue cricket sound effects.
Dang.
And no, it's
It's the RuPaul's Drag Race Rattlesnakes.
Well,
now.
you know what? The guy that played Benedict Arnold was great.
Mm-hmm.
He had a short little scene and he was really good at it. And then you don't find out that he's.
Why don't you get up on that mic, bud? There it is.
You don't find out that he's Benedict Arnold until after you've been like, this guy's cool. And then you're like, oh, he's Benedict Arnold. Oh, twist.
Yes, twist.
Right.
I thought the one black man that they let speak this season, that guy was great.
He was
He's
very,
very
good.
good.
So good, they had to kill him immediately.
And you both agree that Rachel Hunter is a great addition to the hot Quaker Barbie.
Just Quaker Oats girl. Just like, let's keep
Quaker
it.
Oats.
St. Pauli girl?
Ooh. We don't see those titties though. St. Pauli girl is
I'm gonna see those
titties are
titties.
instrumental.
Oh my God, here we go.
You're like, we're gonna see those titties. We're gonna see Rachel Hunter's titties.
I mean, inevitably, right?
Yeah. She and Ian are definitely gonna get together.
Or
This is
Jamie's son,
fucking
Jamie's
hilarious.
bastard, right?
Yeah, but I don't think so. I think she's gonna get with Ian.
You brought up Jamie's son. What do you remember about Jamie's son?
He got his hat shot off. That's about it.
He did get his hat shut off. Who shot his hat off?
I don't care. Is it dead? It was Jamie, right?
Okay, see, you remember
I
little
feel
things.
like he's a little bit of a pill.
Oh yeah.
Is he a little bit of a pill?
How do you find his spying skills?
Oh, he was terrible at that. Yeah. Not an ancestor of James Bond, I would say.
No, barely.
Although James Bond walks into every place he goes and says his actual name, so maybe he is an ancestor of James
barely
Bond.
an ancestor of his own father. Frankly.
Wait, is he an ancestor of his own father?
No.
Is this a time travel thing?
Oh.
No.
No, it's not.
You remember the house blowing up? You already referenced that.
Yeah.
Was that good? House blowing up?
It's frustrating
When
because
your house blows up?
yes, in my experience, it's frustrating when your house blows up. No, because all the craftsmanship that went into that house. I was like, God damn it! All those windows.
So many windows.
All those windows.
All the glaziermanship.
Which those windows only allowed more oxygen to get in, which probably increased the scope of the fire and flame. So it's their own damn fault.
What about Ian killing a lady? No? Don't remember Ian killing a lady? What about Ian killing a guy? You remember Ian killing anybody?
Oh, Ian.
Ian's body count goes up a lot this season.
Does he still have that dog?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good dog.
Listen, you like dogs. You don't remember that dog's life being threatened twice?
Yeah, by the old man that I was like, who is this old man and why do I care that this man
the old guy
has been here the entire time?
who he and his wife were fucking. I don't know. That whole thing was very confusing to me.
The only thing that matters this year.
Gold.
Yeah, but I can't tell if there was some sort of weird matter of honor. I'm not actually sure who did what wrong
Yeah.
in that whole situation.
Yeah.
Like, was there an actual ethical fault on anyone's part up until the point that we started killing people? Oh, that's who Ian killed. That's right.
Yeah.
His
Why
wife.
did they bury gold underneath Jamie's house? Like, if they needed it in a jam, how would they have explained, hey, really quickly, we just need to get into your foundation here because we buried a shit ton of gold? Like, what a stupid idea on their part. Is that ever explained?
Well, so in the book, it's not so complicated because let's face it, there isn't a foundation for that house. There, you know,
It's a cabin. It's a
Their house is
glorified
built upon
cabin.
the sand.
it is. It's a glorified cabin. But in the book, their malicious giant white sow digs herself a little burrow underneath the house, and so they were hiding it in the burrow. That doesn't come up here. They just hid it.
Yeah, they didn't bring the pig into it.
We've
been bummed.
Right? Is this what the issue is? That the gold doesn't belong. The gold belongs to the Jacobite rebellion, and so Jamie sees himself as somehow safe keeping it for them, and then he's upset when old guy and his wife try to steal it.
No, No. This is an issue that does not translate particularly well from the books. So you have identified a sticking point. But that gold is stolen from the tomb of Hector Cameron.
Okay.
But Hector Cameron stole that gold in the first place. So
it's been stolen multiple times. But you're right. It was about Jacobite. It was
But
about.
is Jamie
supporting
trying
the
to keep
Jacobite.
it safe for someone? Does he feel like he's saving it in trust for the rightful owner?
No, I think in the universe of the show, it is probably more about the fact that gold seems to bring a lot of death with it.
Oh, so it's like cursed gold that he's trying to.
Cursed
It's
so much as
pirate gold.
trouble. Like it's trouble.
Write the legend. It's cursed.
Would you say mo money, mo problems?
Yes. Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And also just like secrecy, I guess. I don't know. The show does not do the show has grievously mishandled those characters anyway.
Because then he treats that old guy like he's like some just horrible like thing that he's done by trying to steal this gold for himself.
Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense.
Like, you're clearly a horrible bad person for trying to take this gold from me.
I mean, he does threaten to murder a dog, so.
But then we do see his real creepy side coming out after that, though. Like,
you mean
he's
after
real
his
creepy.
wife is killed?
Yeah. I mean,
Watch what happens, Julie.
I know. Ooh, I got scared. Kevin is agog.
Yeah, it's a little convoluted.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. So I'm okay that they did a bad job of it and it doesn't make sense and I don't need to understand it.
Great.
Yep. I'm okay with that.
Good. But the house blowing up, do you remember?
I more just remember it because it was obviously they'd been planning the whole seed of they die in a fire. They die in a fire. Oh my God, did you read? They die in a fire. And so then when the house blew up, it was like, oh, well, here's the red herring of them not dying in a fire.
That is also more complicated, but that they do in fact not die in a fire. That's true.
I do remember them not dying. Yeah. Now that I think about it, I do remember them being alive at the end of the
Do
season.
you remember Jamie getting it on the battlefield and you thinking there's absolutely no way they will kill this man yet?
Yeah, because it was like the first 3 minutes of that episode.
And you're like, oh no, he's still alive. He's 100% still alive. We can't have the show without him, at least right now. All right. I remember that.
Great.
I remember.
Do you remember Bree's job interview?
Yes.
Yes. Once again, I'm just not big on hydroelectricity. It's not a thing that takes place.
He's ignoring that entire plot thread.
To me, it's just an inefficient way to generate electricity, but that's for my companion podcast.
So
It's a junk green energy is what he's saying.
Yeah.
So in short, you liked Benedict Arnold and you liked nothing. You being Neal and you being Kevin.
I thought I was Neal.
You're all a little bit Neal now.
Ew.
Nah. A little bit Neal.
I mean, yeah, I'd probably go. No, that's too harsh.
You listen. Here's the bone that I have to pick with you. Apparently, every year, this is not your genre.
Yeah.
It's not your show.
Yeah.
However, I have personally directed your ass. I know you take acting seriously. Jesus Christ.
Hell yeah. You started
You studied it at length at an expensive school. Yeah. So
Blow her up.
when you're watching this thing,
Make it happen.
like Kevin. Imagine that you got offered a role in Outlander. You wouldn't say no, and you would do your best. I mean, your shirt says that you would, right?
Maximum effort. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, as a fellow craftsperson, there's nothing that you appreciate about the craft of the thing that's not for you.
There were some good foliage shots, I feel.
He does love those foliage shots.
do.
He loves that
Oh
shit.
my God.
No, it's fine. It's just not for me. The part of the problem with today is we watched this show last fall.
Yeah.
There is a lot of steam that has escaped, so I just cannot remember
Well, that's why we're going to give you 2 sentences per episode to try to bring stuff back, but we're going to try to keep each episode's discussion to less than 10 minutes.
And we are also only going to do that for 4 episodes because there are not episode summaries for the next 4.
Well, then that's going to be you and me casting our minds back and bringing up our own.
Before we do
sentences.
that, can we just to Sinead? I do remember Sinead.
Yes.
Oh, yes, to
hey.
Sinead. Cheers.
A real one.
A real one.
That
Just the
sound
way she
you-
would have liked it.
Yeah. The sound you heard was all of us enjoying delicious, delicious 40s.
All right. So, the premiere. A Life Well Lost. Do you remember the life that was quote unquote lost in this episode? That's a no. So, this is the episode where first we have Claire in prison with a bunch of bad bitches. Then she gets taken to a boat to be a doctor.
To be a midwife for the governor's wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she gets rescued, sort of. First, she thinks she's going to get rescued by Jamie, but then it doesn't happen. But then ultimately, she gets rescued by Tom Christie, confessing to the murder of his daughter,
Yeah.
which he didn't do.
He's saving her.
Yes. And he goes to the boat to confess and also to tell her that he loves her. And Jamie is like, he wanted to do it. What was I going to do? Say no? It doesn't come with a gift receipt.
I got you out of there.
Yeah, it's kind of a win-win for me.
So that guy, for us, that episode was all about that actor, Mark Lewis Jones.
Mark Lewis Jones having that scene.
Being very good. He has a scene on a porch where he's kind of drunk, and then he asks Jamie to sort of eulogize him in real time, and he listens to his eulogy, and it was very good.
Yeah.
And then he also has a scene on the boat where he confesses his love to
Yes.
Claire and tells her that he's going to give his life for her.
He's already kissed her. He kissed her in the last season, right?
No,
Oh, he
not
kissed-
yet. That's
to
coming.
come.
Oh, that's okay.
She thinks he dies here, right? She thinks that he gave up his life for her life. So that's remember
And
that.
then the other notable thing in this episode is at the very end, Jamie goes full like serial killer, like he gets the horror movie shot of the
Oh,
lights come
yeah,
on
he's
and
in
he's
the-
sitting in the
Lionel
corner.
Brown murder turtle gets it.
Murder turtle.
Yeah,
He's like,
just
you
sitting in
wouldn't
the
kill me.
chair.
You're an honorable man. He's like, no, but here's the thing. You fucked with my wife. Here we go. Ready
Guess
to
what?
die.
I'm the Terminator. He gets the whole thing, with the lights off, and then the light comes on.
And then the cut to black.
And so Myrtle also dies in this episode.
Yeah, Murder Turtle dies here. We don't know yet what happened to his body, but frankly, Jamie's got to be really good at disposing of corpses by now. So
I'm going to assume underneath the floorboards of something.
probably
somewhere.
Telltale Heart situation.
Yeah.
I mean, they were-
found a spot where a pig had dug out a little hole
Yeah,
and
He was
just shoved
staying
it in
at
there.
an inn, which means he was also staying at a pub, which I think means to me that body is
Barrel.
obviously in a barrel.
Yep.
Somebody
And this is how
drinking
Guinness
some
was created.
gnarly creme de menthe right now.
Yeah.
Like this is. I think my beer has a finger in it, like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Kevin looks like he's thinking pretty hard.
So much of this is like, oh yeah, that's new information. No, I'm good. I thought I had a question and I don't.
What else do we learn in this episode? Does Jamie get brought into the Snipies yet?
No,
not
not for a
yet.
long time.
Okay.
And do we see a son yet? Do we see a son in this episode?
No, not yet.
Okay. And we
This
don't
is
see
all-
Lord John Coinface or whatever?
Nope.
'Cause he
He
shows
only
up at
has
some
the
point.
He is-
one scene in this
He
entire
is
season.
referenced in this episode because when Jamie shows up, he's like, "My friend Lord John Grey suggests blah 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 blah," and the guy on the boat is like, "Yeah, no,
Yeah, whatever.
nah."
What was the gap of time between 6 and 7? Was it like obscenely long or was it just a normal year?
I
You
think
mean
it was pretty
in production
short.
time or in fictional
in
time?
production time.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was normal.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
Because so much of this is like bleeding into previous seasons of stuff that like in my brain is just the Outlander section in my mind palace.
The one drawer.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, the one tiny junk drawer.
Yeah, it's got batteries.
It's got
and
some batteries and some soy sauce
some
in it.
Sharpies
Soy
that
sauce
are
packets.
well,
dried
and I
up.
assume that 80% of the drawer in your mind palace that Outlander lives in is Galis Duncan getting out of a bloodbath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that photo lives forever in my
Yeah.
brain.
It's
Yeah.
like a pop-up book when you open the drawer, she just pops up. The blood's like,
She ain't the only thing popping up.
Okay. So no other thoughts on that episode, huh?
no, I don't think.
Do you do you, Neal, the person who seems to have any memory of this particular character at all, share our appreciation for Mark Lewis Jones?
Yeah, totally. Well, because the first time I noticed that dude was on The Crown. He played
He's so good
Prince
in that
Charles's
episode.
Welsh teacher.
Yeah.
And he was so fucking good in that. And then he was good in this. I remember, I think maybe from watching this episode, being surprised at how quickly things went from we're going to town to catch a boat to go back to Scotland to, oh no, all sorts of other things are happening instead of us doing that.
No. So they boat for Scotland, not involved at all. This is Claire is arrested for murder at the end of the previous season.
Remember, they came to the house on the ridge and took her away in the sin wagon? This is her arriving in town.
Well, isn't there some point at which then they are going to go to Scotland
Yes.
and then
Yes.
instead Jamie ends up in the Revolutionary
Yes.
Army?
Still to
Yes,
come.
That's
but
coming up.
that's
Okay.
coming up.
All right.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is just
The boat that's
previously
happening
on
here.
Outlander. Claire was arrested for murder.
Okay.
The boat that's happening here is the boat that's hanging out off the coast of North Carolina with the governor and his wife on it. And his
Hiding
wife
out because
they're
of
hiding.
the revolution.
And his wife is having a difficult pregnancy, so that's what
Yeah.
saves Claire because she goes to be the midwife on that boat. And then Tom Christie trades himself for her because he can write, and well, we don't know that yet, but he's about to become his secretary.
Yeah.
To your point, though, there is a lot this year that felt like the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones, where things that used to take a little longer are now in a super compressed timeline because they have to cover so much ground story-wise that I felt like things that were like, oh, this would have been a whole season arc of trying to rescue Claire. It's done in an hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then we move on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why in my brain it's so disposable.
That episode in particular, that it's the end of the previous book. Because of I think largely because of the shortened episode order because of COVID, right? So like they restructured how they were shooting things because of COVID.
It did feel like
yeah.
there was like we got the last 3 chapters of a book this year. Like the first couple of episodes are
Yes.
like closing
Totally.
the
Yeah.
murder mystery on
And then
on the ridge.
we're going
yeah.
to Scotland, but no, we're not. We're
We're fighting the Revolutionary War.
okay. So
Yeah, I got nothing else for that episode.
Okay.
episode 2 is
It's my favorite one.
Oh, I never actually read the summary for the last one. Doesn't matter. After Brianna gives birth to her daughter Amanda, Claire notices something is wrong. Brianna and Roger must return to their time to keep their family whole, and Jamie suggests Claire should go with them. Some unwelcome visitors at Fraser's Ridge find buried secrets. So that episode is
House blows up.
Mandy has a heart murmur, and let's send them back to the future.
Back
Yep.
to the future.
I was just waiting for him
They're
to say
just,
Great
like, teeing
Scott,
you up for
and he
this.
never did.
And you just didn't do it.
I'm sorry. You wanted me to say what? Great who?
What an asshole.
Is there an enchantment under the sea dance at all in this?
There is not.
Well, then I quit.
Is there a phone call between two cousins that changes the course of popular music?
There is not. But Jamie does have a dream about a phone.
He does have a dream about a phone and a dream
That's it.
about electric light.
Does he have I'm jumping all around. Does he have some sort of telekinetic link with the boy where he can see what the boy is saying?
No, but he does seem to have psychic dreams.
Okay.
Don't you?
No, I don't.
It's so weird because I had a dream last night where I saw you.
Not giving a shit.
Yeah. Like I saw you waking up this morning and being like, well, time to make the donuts.
Reader,
do
they
say that.
arrived with donuts.
I do say that every morning.
Kevin didn't make them, though. I bought them
Not at
from
all.
Downstate Donuts on Wilson in Chicago's uptown neighborhood.
Made
They're
with the
delicious.
finest potatoes.
They are potato donuts.
Yum.
Potatoes.
This episode, so okay, I didn't realize that this season they also went back to the future.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so that makes sense because then a bunch of fucking time passes. We spent a shit ton of time arguing about
We
this.
had a legitimate argument.
about how much time has passed in the future once they get there, because then they have kids.
Years, yeah.
And then whether that
Unclear.
same amount of time has gone by in the past. Right? Is it like, oh, it was 10 years in the future, it was also 10 years in the past. Everyone is 10 years older.
It wasn't
No,
fully
it's
10 years.
not
It was
10
more like
years.
4 years.
I used it was a placeholder.
Yeah.
So
Number.
the baby is born and is a baby.
On the ridge.
And then when we jump, she's like 4
4 or 5,
three
maybe.
or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie went from being about that age to being in, second grade or
Yeah.
whatever.
And
Old enough to tell lies.
And in theory, that same amount of time has passed in...
Yes, which you can tell because when we see Claire at the beginning of the season, she has short hair from her...
and then it grows out.
Sick bob. And then by the time...
From her witch bob.
Yeah, by the time we see her again, her hair's really long.
This is where the argument really stemmed. So the last battle that we see before the decision is made...
That's right.
It's the actual battle is like...
It's Lexington?
Yeah, something
It's
like
not
that.
Lexington. What's the battle of the fucking fort?
No, the
Ticonderoga.
Ticonderoga.
The Declaration of Independence is released in this season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then there's so it's like 1776, maybe 77 at the end. And then it's like 1989, 1990 in the future.
1981.
81. Sorry,
Because Phil Collins,
they're,
remember?
They're off. They are off.
Well, because this is what the debate turned into. The debate was, or the discussion was, does the same time pass in both times? Does the
Yes.
same, and then the question was, are the portals a fixed distance apart in time?
No.
So you could travel, but you could touch a dick rock and travel back to any point in time if you know what you're doing.
Sort of. It's funny that you should mention this. That will become an important plot point in season 7.
Because it seemed like Galis went through all this research and she had the gems and she had the blood
Yes.
and she did all this. She really made sure she knew how to drive this car.
Yeah, but her research was wrong because it was based on she needed to kill someone, which is not accurate.
That was
Look
just a
at
bonus for
her.
her.
Yeah.
I know. That was just a bonus for her.
That
Yeah.
was in the early seasons when I gave a damn.
And so that was really what we were trying to understand, right? Is if it's always, again, just a placeholder number, if it's always 100 years apart.
No.
No.
So Claire actually explains this to someone in the episode we're talking about. Because Donner, who is the long-haired...
The other guy from the future that was there
Yeah.
on the
He knew
terrible
the-
assault on her.
It was Beatles reference?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in
That's how
this,
they figured it out.
the way that he catches on to what's happening in this episode is Roger is learning, he's like in training to be a minister, and there are a bunch of prisoners, and they ask him to give advice, and he says, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And then the bing, future radar goes off, and Donner is the guy's name. Anyway, he shows up at the Reg in search of butt jewels.
Ooh.
And information about how to travel in time because he wants to go home. And Claire, very condescendingly and annoyed. I mean, to be fair, a home invasion. She can be as mad as she wants, but she's like, "Oh, are you really going to make me tell you about time travel?"
And then she literally just lays it all out.
You need a jewel, and that it is helpful if you are focusing on a specific person. Like if you are thinking about like a person that you have some sort of connection to, it seems like you can steer to when you want to go to. I don't know what the default is if you're not thinking about anybody. The implication in the mix is that the reason that Claire ends up in the time period she does is she is thinking about Frank. So she winds up at Blackjack Randall. But when she goes back, she's thinking about Jamie, which is how she winds up lined up with, and then listen.
Time travel is stupid.
But when she goes back, she and Jamie have both aged
Yes.
about the same amount.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time it's a fixed point. A lot of the time it's a fixed distance.
Yes.
Like for this family, it seems like it's almost always a fixed distance when they travel back and forth in time.
Yeah.
That time still happens the same way in both timelines,
Right.
even if there's not a very specific number of years in between their times.
Right,
Yeah.
but like
But Claire didn't go
Brianna
back to
can't.
Jamie at age 20.
In theory, Brianna could go back and meet Jamie as a boy, meet her father as a boy, but she doesn't. She always ends up going back to roughly the time she left, plus or minus however much time she's been gone. God damn, time travel's a pain in the ass.
I know. And in that circumstance, I think that I would say that Bree was actually probably looking for her mother, which would be easier because there is a much smaller amount of time in which her mother exists in the past.
But she could in theory think of Plato and go back to ancient Greece.
In theory, yes, she could.
Because we think that Galis Duncan originally might have been thinking of Bonnie Prince Charlie.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Because she wanted to be there for the Jacobite cause. So that was the person
She
was
went to
focusing
all
on.
that trouble for Scottish independence.
Just try and get it to go,
Listen,
man.
you've seen her go, Scotland.
She was doing her best. She was trying her best.
She was trying
That's all
her
we can do
best.
every day.
Okay.
That was a sidebar.
They also, let me see if there's anything else we address in this one. Unwelcome visitors, house blows up, heart murmur.
This is where Ian kills the lady, right?
No, that's
the next
beginning
episode.
of the next episode when they're digging through the bones of the house.
Now. Death Be Not Proud. With their home destroyed, Jamie, Claire, and Ian decide to return to Scotland for a while. Jamie tells Claire he sees things from her time in his dreams. There we go. That's the phone. In 1978, Brianna and Roger open a chest that has been in storage for 200 years.
Okay, so 2 is when
the
Brianna
letters.
and Roger go.
Yes, they go back. There's the reason it's called the happiest place on earth is that Jamie and Brianna have a conversation about
Mickey Mouse,
Disneyland.
that's right.
And then Jamie says to Jem, if you should meet a mouse called Michael, tell him your grandsire sends his regards.
And now we
He
can
means
all
Mickey
use
Mouse.
Steamboat Willie photos. So put that in every single one of the promos.
That should be the thumbnail
Dudelander.
for this.
Just photos of us and Steamboat Willie.
Okay, you weirdos.
Amelia's really going to go ham on that Photoshop.
Yeah, she might.
Yeah. It's just going to be
Public
the
domain.
2 of you steering boats.
Right. So this is where we get the device of the chest full of letters that they're not going to read in a hurry.
And they're
going
also-
to read like one at a time.
And also not going to put under lock and key when there's strangers in the house and shit.
don't
Come
even
on
don't
now.
even get me
That's-
started
we're
about
not there
that
yet.
yet.
I know,
when
but
we
come
get there,
on.
I'm
still
very
mad
annoyed.
about it.
I'm annoyed
mad
about all of
it.
that. Yeah.
I'm fucking mad.
How
about
much of this entire book series is driven by the dumbest possible choices?
I would say how much of any fictional account is driven by people being stupid.
Yeah, how many
You know
times
what?
are you
A lot.
watching anything and you're like, why are they doing that? That seems like the stupid. Don't go in that room.
Well, I mean, I know all of you, and I can say all 3 of you have made some very stupid decisions
Yes.
in your
Yeah,
lives.
we've led us to this table.
it. You
Right?
know what?
Absolutely.
Here we are, dude. Cheers.
So, stupid decisions are the spice of life, I would say.
That's Neil pouring
my.
orange juice into a 40. Hey, save some for the rest of us. That's a big
At this point,
container
it's
you got.
mostly orange juice.
Yeah, that's what he's going for.
Yeah, that's how I roll.
No way.
I like
I gotta take a photo of that.
Sweet
No.
malt liquor flavor.
I don't have my phone. Allison will. I get the ingenuity, the sheer badassery. I'm proud to call you my spouse.
Spouse proud.
Spouse proud. All right. So speaking of spouse proud, Allison is correct. All 3 of us, in fact, all 4 of us, have made very terrible and stupid decisions at some point in our past. So sometimes in works of fiction, even though it really grinds your fucking gears that they just left those letters there for anyone to read.
Listen, I guess we're jumping ahead. Devil's advocate. This is just the Brianna and Roger corner for now.
Okay.
Then calling an audible. So, why on earth would you think that a stranger to your home would be interested in a box of old paper?
This is actually the crux of my problem. My problem isn't that they left that box out. My crux of the problem is he was in that room for like 5 minutes and apparently read all the letters, totally grokked onto everything that was going on, and said, you know what? The only thing that makes sense here is for me to kidnap this child and travel back in time.
Well, he was in there for longer than that because he was in theory looking at all of the music. Like that was his excuse. And there was also a gold musket ball in that box.
Well, there was a musket ball.
Did they know it was gold yet?
Yeah,
The gold had already
paint
flaked off?
off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also that dude is nuts.
I mean,
like,
that's the
he's
only
a-
explanation
he's certainly a
for him
sadist,
just
right?
quickly reading all of that, finding the painted gold thing, saying, oh, that's definitely gold, I know. And saying, okay, what I've got to do is
But-
kidnap this child so I could travel back in time to the American colonies.
You are missing a very important piece of context here, which is the reason he gets onto this whole thing is that when Roger is handing out we're going to learn to sing a song in Gaelic, right? He accidentally hands out his book that he is writing for his kids about how to time travel. A practical guide for time travelers. Right?
I know. Also dumb.
Yeah,
Extremely dumb.
in
Listen,
1981.
Roger is not one of nature's
Again,
greatest
in
bulls.
1981, if I handed someone a manuscript that said that, they would assume that this was my fucking sci-fi
terrible,
book
yeah.
that I've written, right? And I
Which he
was
tries to pass it
accidentally giving it out to try to find out if people liked
He
it or
tries
not.
to pass it off that way, but
Yeah,
I think
totally reasonable.
I think we're led to believe that Rob Cameron might have weirdly more knowledge about the time travel situation than he's letting on.
Yeah, there is
I think maybe a relative of his.
I was going to say, because the gold is Cameron, right?
Yeah.
These are things I'm putting together based on the conversation we've had, not the season of TV I watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Cameron, Jocasta Cameron, Hector Cameron. I'm not sure what.
Wait, that's her last name?
Yes.
Oh, no
Crack
shit.
window a little bit. I'm burning up.
Turn on the fan.
Oh, can I? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was an
Hold,
audio
please.
problem.
No, it's fine.
So that's the other thing, right? If he was predisposed to accept that as being possible, like if he had a relative, if there have been legends or myths or rumors or whatever inherited information, and
If he's been
predisposed
doing
to
his
believe
own
it,
research.
Yes.
or like had heard about it since he was a kid, or maybe he had a relative who disappeared, or who knows. I mean, there is literally a weird time travel blue goo field at his place of employment.
Yeah, I like that idea that a relative disappeared, that he was looking at a black and white family photo from like 100 years ago, and all of a sudden that person slowly fades into the photo. It's like, gasp, time travel.
So if he was predisposed
I gotta find a kid to kidnap.
to believe it, and also was a piece of shit. I mean, if you found out, you would not kidnap a child.
Well,
but if
do
you
the
had
scenario first, and
Yeah,
I'll tell
yeah,
you if
let's-
I'm going to kidnap a child.
Okay, so you are a miserable person whose French wife
Tracks.
has left him.
All of this actually tracks with my real life scenario. Keep going.
Okay. I hope you're not a miserable person.
I still have that damn French wife. Keep
And you came across information that suggested, perhaps confirmed something you have always sort of believed, which is that time travel is possible. And it was like, by
That
the
the
way,
Cubs
here's
can
how-
win the World Series.
By the way, here's how you do it. You're telling me that you would not go back in time and try to date your mom and or change the course of music history?
I don't think I would try to date
What a
my mom.
specific question.
You would just try to hit it.
I would, and maybe
God.
get a sports
He spends
almanac.
that whole movie being terrified that she's going to try to have sex with him. He doesn't want to have sex with
It's
her.
okay. It's like kissing your brother. That's why they don't have sex. That one very specific reason. This movie's perfect. Sorry, you had a question, and then we just became a Back to the Future podcast.
Would you kidnap a child to do it is the second question. But if you were a person predisposed to believe time travel was real and you came across information that suggested here is exactly how you travel in time, would you not try to do it?
And you're kind of a butthole.
No.
You would not try to travel in time.
Disease.
Mm.
I'm
Vaccinations.
I'm super skeptical. Yeah, but I mean,
Are you an anti-vaxxer?
You gonna get vaccinated for that plague?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we don't have to worry about because they've already run their course through.
Mm-hmm.
So our bodies
we
might not
literally
be
just lived
disposed to
through
it.
a plague.
I mean,
We
what
did?
what happens if I go back 200 years and like break my arm?
Well, you find Claire Fraser is what
Yeah.
you do.
That's what I'm just saying.
Well, apparently, according to this show, you have to get the whole thing cut off unless a miracle happens.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Now would I
Yay!
travel forward in time? That's more interesting.
No, that's a fool's errand.
Yeah, I would never travel forward in time, and here's why.
Okay.
Because what if you're like 50 years, the Earth will still be here, and you touch the dick rock and you go through time, and oops, you're in a lava pit,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, the planet is no longer habitable.
That could also happen if you go far enough back in time.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be like, welcome to Jurassic Park. You wouldn't do that.
Well, maybe you get that you could prepare for now. Like I could get a lava suit and like go
What
put on
the
my lava
fuck?
suit
Where
and go
did
stand
this
on
go?
that.
too far.
We have
You've gone
gone
too
off
far.
the rails. Lava suit.
I don't necessarily. Well, listen. If I knew that if I had a crumb-dum life and I knew that there was just gold sitting out there, and it's easier to go back in time to get the gold before I knew that the gold might be
Then
gone.
it is to find that pirate ship hidden underneath the town.
Yeah, I need a map and 3 plucky kids. No, I would kidnap a child. Absolutely. You heard it here first.
You heard it here. We got there.
This is exclusive. This
Yeah.
is.
We
Hide your
got there.
kids.
Yeah.
I would kidnap a child if I,
Because the kid knows where the gold is.
Especially, children are notoriously great communicators and have fantastic memories. So I'd be like, child, tell me where this gold is that you don't remember.
Yeah.
No, there's such a terrible logic to this entire play because that kid's gonna be like, I don't know, granddad told me there was gold somewhere.
Because also he's traveling back in time to Scotland and now has to get to the Americas. I guess.
Is Rob Cameron that smart? I don't
Actually,
think so.
I guess he could travel to the Americas in his
They'd be so
present
much faster,
and
yeah.
travel touch Dick Rock there to go back. That would make more sense.
And this is pre
Is that what he'll
9/11, so
do?
it's easier to get a child through airport
Oh,
security.
there is no security.
Yeah, you can just be like, this
You
is my
just smoke
ward
all the way from the car to the to your seat.
on a Pan Am
You've
flight.
just got the kid in your carry-on. So
Guys,
yeah,
are we doing this? Are we kidnapping a child?
I think we are. So yeah, he could.
But in this case, it's just ransom, right? Because we don't believe in time travel. So we're just kidnapping a child for the ransom money.
Well, do we know any children that know where gold is buried? That's step one. If we know
The
a
thoughts
child.
and actions of the dudes do not in any way are not reflected or supported by those of Podlander Presents LLC.
This is your worst episode. Does anyone enjoy any of this?
Yes, everyone fucking loves it. Don't ask me why.
No.
Yeah, I have no idea why.
Yes. Here's what I don't understand. In this hypothetical, the two of you have declined to time travel, but you have said yes to kidnapping a child.
For the ransom money.
Well, because there's a certainty
What
towards
ransom
kidnapping
money?
a child.
The ransom money.
The ransom money. There's an uncertainty to time travel, but there's a certainty to ransom money.
There really is not.
That's not what movies have me believe.
No, I'm sorry. Movies should absolutely have you believe that you never fucking get away with the ransom money.
Yeah.
Like one example.
Every movie.
Like ransom?
Yes, let's start with ransom. Good Lord. Okay.
Called Raising Arizona.
So I just wanted on record. Time travel, no. Kidnap, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Unequivocally.
Once again, not views held by Podlander Presents LLC.
Yes, because the two of us are idiots, but we're not those idiots. I would absolutely.
Wet bandits.
Oh, God. Here's what I would do. I would overthink when I should time travel to pick the right level of medical help, right? And
Generalized discomfort.
to avoid war.
Mm-mm.
But also, I mean,
There's no
we are
time
women,
period.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, we're women. We're fucked.
Yeah, there's literally no time period that meets those two
You
criteria.
have no idea what it's going to be like in the future, but you know that the farther back you go in the past, the worse it gets for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it all stays pretty terrible.
Yeah, but it's
Could
terrible
get
now.
worse.
Yeah,
I
but it
know
gets
that's what I'm saying. It
incrementally
always-
worse as you go backwards.
It gets worse going back. Right now is bad, but back then worse. I mean, like I just watched hat tip to Lucy Worsley. I love you.
It took Julie so many years to get on that Lucy Worsley beat.
My God. Listen, listeners, I know who you are. I know how you trend.
We know where you live
watch
and how much ransom money you have.
And how many children?
Not a view shared by Podlander Presents LLC. Okay, please do not.
So many listeners with kids. I promise these men are not going to kidnap your children.
Come meet us at the Oasis and bring your
Listen. These two do not have it in them to pull off a kidnapping.
No.
That's probably true.
They're like, that make Roger look like a genius, these two.
So going back to the past as a woman, just don't do it. And listeners, do not watch the Lucy Worsley witch trials episode because you will be filled with an incandescent and white hot rage. All right, that is all.
But do watch Lucy Worsley.
Yeah, everything else, just the witchcraft episode is.
Yeah, she's
The witch trial episode is
the
too
best
hard.
is when she gets into costume like a handmaiden or whatever, and you're watching a reenactment of whatever, and then all of a sudden she turns to the camera and
around.
is, what you need to know about the Tudor.
But that's not what he thought.
It's the best. She's great.
Hello, hello, and welcome to Podlander Drunkcast presents This Thing.
And we're
Thank
part
you
of
for
it.
listening. You can find us on Facebook.com/PodlanderCast, on Instagram @PodlanderCast. All our shit is there. You can also find us at PodlanderPresents.com, finding all sorts of information about all of our high quality content.
And Easter eggs.
Hell yeah. If you like what you heard,
No, there aren't any Easter eggs, folks.
hell yeah. If you like what you heard, please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. Maybe not Apple Podcasts. Let's go straight to Spotify or Google.
Nobody liked this Dudelander episode. I'm telling you right now.
Everybody did.
but-
That's the shame.
Leave a 4-star review on Amazon Music. I think that's the maximum you can do on there.
I wonder why. Why you gotta be rude? Anyway, wherever you're listening to the show right now, just go ahead and open it up and give us a little beep boop beep boop. That's 5 stars.
Stitcher, R.I.P.
I only heard 3
R.I.P.
beep boops. I'm sorry.
Beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop. That's 5.
5 stars.
We want to thank all all of you for listening, but we especially want to thank our patrons. You can become a patron at patreon.com/Podlander Drunkcast, and you can support the show, join the Slack, get early episode access, and access all of our sweet bonus content.
Do we have a phone number for that?
No. Thanks to all of our patrons. You all make it possible for us to do all this shit. You fucking rule. This show is produced by Allison Shoemaker and Julie Starbird, edited by Julie Starbird. Other stuff by Allison Shoemaker. All of our artwork is by Viv Pickles, aka Laura. Our 6 social media game and website are maintained by Amelia Ham on the Loose Buzzell.
Neal Starbird, responsible for all burps on mic.
That's very true. And now here's Allison to read the list of all of our beautiful patrons who help us put this bullshit out there.
First up, number 1 patron.
This is their favorite one.
This is absolutely not how that works.
Yes, it is. I thought they were ranked.
The
No,
next
it's
name
a
they
filter.
say is their favorite listener.
It's a filter.
Who's our favorite patron?
You can say it's me. It's fine.
We don't have a favorite.
Jesus Christ. That's our favorite. Okay. Thank you to all of our patrons, but
But
especially
especially this one.
Right, the following wonderful folks: Jessica Richardson, Kristen Blanton, Mindy Newell, Rachel Revelle, Brenda, Allison King, Doc JWS, Sydney Taylor, Snazzy Knack, Lisa Brienne, Julia Gulia, Kathleen Martini, Lauren Tennant, Kelsey Kemp, Emily Day, Betsy English, Caitlin Reddick, Tina Barnett, Cufflinks and Credentials,
Well.
Freckled Fury, Ham on the Loose, Liz and Tinkerbell, Terry Welch, Rochelle Lefevre, Amanda Smazazaza, Amy Gustafson, Rachel Townsend, Kelly Mazzella, Chantel Salters, Mary the Falling Statue, Tara Lucchino, Viv Pickles, aka Laura, Mary of the Grapefruit, Jenna Polkowski, Ann Gibson, Ruth McCormick, Kara Marlowe, Trish McCurry, Julie DeToit, Jen Lynn, Kelly Bodden, Amanda Newton, Elizabeth Young, and Kiki the Wise. You all are great and wonderful.
Oh man, Kiki the Wise came in last.
I can't believe
No.
dead
That's
last.
wild. At least they made the list.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Fuck that. These guys suck.
Why on earth did we say they could be in the outro?
I don't know.
Thank
Anyway.
you so much for inviting us.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.